welcome back. I'm Dr. Jeannie Gudith, your private school expert, here to share valuable tips and trends to keep your private school thriving. So let's jump in. So today's topic is all about SEVP or SEVP Certification. And what is that? So that is a certification that's issued by the government if you want to issue visas to foreign students. So we're going to talk all about what the process looks like and if it's a good fit for your school. So let's dive in. So the first thing you need to think about is, are you eligible? So typically if you are a K through 12 or college or trade school, you typically are eligible. Online schools are not eligible. Preschools obviously are not. And if you have, a K through 12, typically it's going to be middle school or high school kids that are going to be coming over. So it's usually not the K through 5s, but usually the schools that offer, a high school program, college or trade school are eligible. But I will link below the site that you need to go to, the area that you need to go to check your eligibility. All right. Okay, on to number 2. This is about accreditation. Now, you don't have to have accreditation to get certified. The process is easier if you are accredited. Do you have to upload additional evidence if you are not? Because you're not accredited, Homeland Security is looking at it as a school that they have to go through and vet, whereas if you are accredited, it's already kind of been done for them. So if you aren't accredited, you're going to have to upload more information, and it's usually a little bit longer of a process just because there's just more stuff you have to do. If you are accredited, you need to be accredited through an approved SEVP accreditation agency. So I'll also link that below so that you can look through their list. There's a lot of agencies on there. If you're not on that list and you are accredited, sometimes your accreditation will have a partnership with another agency. And so sometimes you can go through that route to get accreditation. So just something to check on. And then number 3 is your TOEFL, your application, your housing. Like, you really need to get clear on, what kind of TOEFL score are you going to require? And I'll link the TOEFL information below so you can kind of look at it and see what kind of scores. A lot of schools are like around 100. It just depends on what your school, do you offer ESL? Do you offer, tutoring after school? Like those kinds of things for students that are coming here from another country that don't speak the language as well. And then also your application process. You need to have a separate process for international students. You need to have an interview process, right, where they are on Zoom and you're interviewing them, making sure that they're a good fit for your school, those types of things. And also housing. Like, do you have dormitories, or are you going to offer, one of those housing services where they find housing for the students? So those are some things you should look at before you even start the application process. And then number 4 are documents. So there's a lot of documents that you have to upload. It's considered evidence is what they call it. And so there's a list of documents depending on the type of school you are that you need to have and upload into the system for SEVP. And I'll link also below that takes you to the different types of schools, accredited versus non-accredited, and the extra evidence that you have to upload if you're not accredited, those types of things. I'll link something below so that you can access that. The 5th thing you need to think about is choosing your PDSO and your DSO. So these are the main designated school officials at your school. One's the principal and one's just kind of like the backup, that are going to be enrolling all of your international students. So they have access to the back system, and they're the ones that will be issuing the I-20s. So they also will need a copy of their passports. That will be part of the evidence when you go to apply. So you need to choose two people at your school, one's the main, one's the backup, that will have access to the system and be able to issue those visas to the students. So that's an important one to make sure that you have the right people in place to do that. The 6th thing you're going to need to do is complete the I-17 application, which is on their system. And that's just a long application. You fill it out, and then you would upload your evidence that you've created from the documents from that, and you upload all of that into the system. And then before you do that, you have to actually pay your fee. And the fee right now is $3,000 plus, I think it's $655 for the site visit. There will be a site visit that you have to pay for. And so when you pay those fees, you actually have to upload a copy of your payment as part of the evidence as well. And then you would submit that. And then once it's submitted, you'll get information back that says that it's successfully submitted, and then they'll schedule a site visit with an agent that will come out to your area. Now that can, sometimes that's a waiting game, sometimes that's a month, sometimes that's 2 months. It just depends on how busy they are in your area. So that's why the whole process typically is about 9 to 12 months. It just depends. And then the next thing that you do is once they come out, they do a site visit. You'll want to make sure that your PDSO and DSO are trained somewhat on the system, because the agent will ask them questions about the system. So they need to know how to use it. And it's not an interrogation. It's more of just they want to make sure that they understand, the system and how to enroll a student. And then they'll look around your facility, and it's usually about an hour long. They'll write up their report, and usually it takes about 30 days for them to approve your school and get it up on their website. And then once you have that, then you can start enrolling students. So it really is a 9 to 12 month process. It really just depends on how quickly they move. I've seen it done in about 4 months, which is really, really fast. But usually it takes, I would say on the average, about 9 months. So let me know if you have any questions, comments, subscribe. I hope this video was helpful. Share it with others who might find it helpful, and leave comments. I love reading your comments, and I love taking some of those comments and making content from them, because I get asked these questions all the time. Clients are always asking us, once they have accreditation, if they should do SEVP certification or not. It really does enhance your school, and it's another revenue stream for your school, and really helps the community because you're involving other people from around the world. So it is a great experience. So I encourage you to do it. But if you need help with it, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help. All right, thanks so much. Bye.